the vast and grim-dark expanse of the Warhammer 40k universe, towering machines of war once strode across battlefields, wielding the power to turn entire worlds to ash. These behemoths, the godlike titans, embody the ultimate expression of technological dominance, their presence a terrifying reminder of humanity's once limitless potential. They were more than just machines. They were symbols of an era when warfare was waged on an apocalyptic scale, and survival often came at the cost of annihilation. The sight of a titan on the horizon was enough to break the will of armies and crumble fortifications. Their immense power was unparalleled, their weapons capable of leveling cities, and their immense forms a challenge to the laws of physics themselves. The Imperium of Man revered these war engines as sacred relics, while their enemies saw them as harbingers of destruction. From the Great Crusade to the Horus Heresy and beyond, Titans stood as both protectors and destroyers, a testament to the extremes of technological ingenuity and the darker side of human ambition. But as the 41st millennium unfolds, the role of Titans in warfare has diminished. No longer do these colossal machines dominate every battlefield as they once did. Instead, they have become increasingly rare and reserved for only the most pivotal or apocalyptic conflicts. Their towering forms, once the backbone of large-scale campaigns, are now considered relics of a bygone age, a fading echo of wars fought on an unimaginable scale. The reasons for this shift remain complex, rooted in the ever-evolving nature of galactic warfare, the desperate resource constraints of the Imperium, and the emergence of new technologies and threats. This change raises many questions. How did humanity's mightiest engines of war fall from their pedestal? What factors contributed to the decline of Titans as the ultimate instruments of destruction? And what does their diminished role reveal about the state of the galaxy in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium? To understand this, we must explore the forces and factions that shaped their legacy, uncover the intricate web of events that led to their twilight, and examine the technological, strategic, and political currents that have redefined the galaxy's approach to war. This is the story of the Titans' rise and fall, a tale of glory, hubris, and the unrelenting march of change in a universe where even the greatest are not immune to obsolescence. The stage is set. Titans, once unparalleled gods of war, now find their dominance challenged. What brought them to this precipice? The answers lie in the key players, events, and mysteries that will unfold as we journey through this chapter of Warhammer 40k's history. The decline of Titans as the dominating force in warfare is a story interwoven with the roles and actions of various factions across the galaxy. Each of these groups has had a direct or indirect hand in shaping the place of these colossal war machines within the brutal conflicts of the 41st millennium. From their creators and operators to those who now challenge their supremacy, understanding these participants is essential to comprehending why Titans no longer rule the battlefields as they once did. The Adeptus Mechanicus, the guardians of humanity's technological relics, stand at the heart of the Titans' existence. As the masters of the Collegia Titanica, they are responsible for the construction, maintenance, and operation of these immense war engines. The Mechanicus views the Titans as sacred artifacts, embodiments of their faith in the Omnissiah, and symbols of technological divinity. They ensure the Titans remain operational, yet their rigid adherence to ancient doctrines and secrecy has created challenges in adapting these machines to the demands of modern warfare. The Collegia Titanica itself is a vital institution within the Mechanicus, functioning as the organizational body dedicated to Titans. It is divided into Titan legions, each a self-contained military force with its own hierarchy and traditions. The Princeps, the pilots who command Titans, and the Moderati, who assist them, form the human interface with these god machines. Alongside them, the tech priests oversee the sacred rites of repair and operation, maintaining the delicate balance between machine and spirit that keeps a Titan functioning. On the front lines of war, The Astra Militarum represents the Imperium's vast ground forces. While Titans are technically independent of these armies, they often operate alongside them during major campaigns. The generals and commanders of the Astra Militarum must coordinate their strategies to incorporate the overwhelming firepower of Titans, a task that grows increasingly complex as the galaxy's conflicts evolve. Despite their appreciation for the Titans' might, they face mounting frustrations over their dwindling availability and high resource demands. The Space Marines, humanity's elite warriors, have a more nuanced relationship with Titans. While their smaller, mobile forces rarely require the scale of destruction Titans can provide, they sometimes fight alongside them in critical campaigns. However, their reliance on precision strikes and rapid maneuvers often contrasts with the Titans' immense but less adaptable nature, highlighting a divergence in battlefield philosophies. Beyond the Imperium, the alien races of the galaxy have played their own roles in the shifting dominance of Titans. The Orcs, for instance, are known for constructing their own massive war machines, which, while crude, rival Titans in sheer destructive capability. Their unrelenting ingenuity and appetite for conflict ensure they are a constant thorn in the side of the Imperium's Titan legions. The Tau Empire represents another challenge. Their advanced technology and emphasis on ranged warfare allow them to deploy weapons and vehicles capable of outmaneuvering and outlasting Titans in extended engagements. While they lack the sheer size and firepower of a Titan, their efficiency and strategic acumen make them formidable opponents in modern war zones. The Necrons, with their ancient and arcane technologies, pose a unique threat. Their ability to harness destructive energy and deploy forces with unmatched precision undermines the Titans' traditional advantages. Even the Titans' sheer scale is not immune to Necron weaponry, which is capable of targeting and neutralizing such massive constructs with ease. Chaos factions, particularly the traitor Titan legions, remain one of the most significant threats to the Titan's supremacy. These corrupted engines of war, now twisted by the influence of the warp, embody the greatest dangers Titans can face on the battlefield: chaos. Titans not only match their loyalist counterparts in power, but are often enhanced by unholy energies, making them far deadlier than their original designs. Finally, the galaxy itself has become a player in this drama. The fractured state of the Imperium, the loss of vital forge worlds, and the rise of more decentralized, asymmetric warfare have all reshaped the battlefield. The vast resources required to maintain Titans are increasingly difficult to secure in a galaxy stretched thin by endless war. With conflicts no longer defined by single grand engagements, the Titans' role has become less relevant in many theaters of war. The interplay of these factions and forces has created a complex web of challenges for the Titans and their operators. Each contributes in its own way to the shifting nature of war in the 41st millennium, where Titans, once undisputed lords of the battlefield, now struggle to find their place in a galaxy that no longer guarantees their supremacy. The gradual decline of Titans as dominant forces in Warhammer 40k's conflicts can be traced back to a series of profound shifts in the galaxy's technological, strategic, and logistical landscape. These shifts, born from centuries of war, political stagnation, and resource depletion, created an environment where the once unassailable Titans faced growing challenges to their relevance and utility on the battlefield. The seeds of this decline were sown in the aftermath of humanity's golden age, the dark age of technology, when the foundations of the Titans' power were first established. During this period, the height of human ingenuity produced unparalleled advancements, including the creation of the God machines. Titans were conceived to subjugate entire worlds, fight on the most hostile of battlefields, and serve as the ultimate instruments of planetary domination. However, this era's downfall left a shattered legacy, with much of the knowledge required to replicate or improve such machines lost to the annals of time. The Horus Heresy exacerbated this problem. The galaxy-wide civil war not only led to catastrophic destruction, but also depleted the Imperium's resources and irreparably damaged many of its forge worlds. These vital centers of Titan production and maintenance were targeted relentlessly by the traitor legions, leaving many in ruins. The heresy also saw the loss of experienced personnel, from the Mechanicus adepts who serviced the machines to the princeps who piloted them. Replacing these losses proved a near insurmountable challenge in the centuries that followed. As the galaxy transitioned into the age of the Imperium of Man adopted a strategy of defensive stagnation. The centralized bureaucracy of the Adeptus Administratum and the rigid dogma of the Mechanicus prioritized the preservation of existing technologies over innovation. The complexity of Titan designs and the scarcity of resources to produce them ensured that they became relics of the past, their numbers dwindling with every passing millennium. The result was an increasing reliance on maintaining ancient war machines rather than expanding or modernizing their presence. The state of galactic warfare also began to change dramatically. Where once vast apocalyptic battles on open battlefields were the norm, the rise of asymmetric and decentralized warfare diminished the Titans' role. Enemies of the Imperium, from Xenos factions to Chaos warbands, adopted strategies that made the deployment of Titans less effective. Guerrilla tactics, surgical strikes, and rapid mobilization became hallmarks of many conflicts, while the colossal size and logistical demands of Titans rendered them ill-suited for such engagements. The Imperium's enemies also advanced their technologies and tactics, presenting new threats to the once uncontested supremacy of Titans. The emergence of weapons capable of penetrating even the most advanced void shields and armor made Titans increasingly vulnerable. The galaxy's conflicts became more fragmented, with skirmishes and planetary raids replacing the large-scale campaigns where Titans excelled. Even when a Titan could be deployed, its overwhelming firepower often proved excessive for the tactical objectives at hand, leading to debates over whether such a costly resource was worth its deployment. Resource scarcity became another critical factor. As forge worlds fell to enemy forces or became isolated by warp storms, the ability to produce or repair Titans diminished significantly. Entire legions found themselves without the supplies or expertise needed to maintain their war machines, forcing them to rely on dwindling stockpiles of ancient parts. Titans became less a tool of war and more a symbol of power and prestige, reserved for rare and monumental conflicts rather than the everyday wars fought across the Imperium's countless worlds. The galaxy's political climate further contributed to this shift. The internal divisions within the Imperium, such as rivalries between planetary governors and competing branches of the Adeptus Mechanicus, often hindered the effective deployment of Titans. Additionally, the increasingly fractured nature of the Imperium meant that many Titan legions operated in isolation, unable to receive reinforcements or supplies from distant forge worlds. This lack of cohesion weakened their ability to project power on a galactic scale. Over time, the cumulative effect of these factors led to a redefinition of the Titan's role in the Imperium's military strategy. Once the centerpiece of vast campaigns, Titans were increasingly relegated to ceremonial roles or deployed only in the direst of circumstances. Their decline was not the result of a single event, but rather a slow erosion of their place in galactic warfare, driven by technological stagnation, resource constraints, and the evolution of warfare itself. The stage was set for a galaxy where Titans, though still formidable, were no longer the undisputed masters of the battlefield. The timeline of events leading to the diminishing dominance of Titans on the battlefields of the 41st millennium is defined by key transitions in the galaxy's wars, the evolving tactics of its factions, and the long-term consequences of millennia of conflict. These events unfold as a sequence of adaptations and challenges, each progressively reshaping the role of these godlike war engines and shifting the balance of power in galactic warfare. In the early days of their use, Titans were deployed with devastating effect during the Unification Wars and the Great Crusade. Their immense firepower and resilience made them the vanguard of humanity's push to reclaim the stars, crushing rebellious systems and alien threats alike. These towering machines symbolized humanity's technological mastery, striding into battle as unassailable weapons of destruction. It was a time when warfare demanded overwhelming displays of strength, and Titans excelled in these roles, fighting in open plains, cities, and across entire worlds. As the Great Crusade gave way to the Horus Heresy, the scale of warfare changed dramatically. The galaxy-wide civil war saw Titans pitted against each other for the first time, with loyalist and traitor legions clashing in battles of unprecedented devastation. These engagements often resulted in the annihilation of entire legions, and even those that survived were left depleted and scattered. The chaos of the heresy, coupled with the destruction of key Forge worlds, marked a turning point for the Titans. Many were lost, and the infrastructure to replace them was permanently weakened. In the centuries following the heresy, the Imperium entered an era of slow recovery and consolidation. The Titans, while still awe-inspiring, were increasingly constrained by their reliance on the dwindling expertise of the Adeptus Mechanicus. This period saw a gradual reduction in their deployment as their numbers dwindled. Instead, the Imperium began focusing on smaller, more versatile forces that could respond to the fractured and unpredictable nature of post-heresy conflicts. By the time of the Age of Apostasy, the decline of Titans had become more apparent. Wars of faith, political upheavals, and infighting between the Imperium's factions further stressed the already fragile supply lines needed to support the Titans. Their use became more symbolic, with legions being called upon to defend major shrine worlds, Holy Terra, or other strategic sites of immense importance. While still formidable, Titans were increasingly relegated to battles where their presence would serve as a statement of power rather than a tactical necessity. The opening of the Cicatrix Maledictum in the late 41st millennium further accelerated this trend. The galaxy, now split in two by the massive warp rift, presented unprecedented challenges for the Imperium. The already precarious logistical chains were disrupted entirely, leaving many Titan legions stranded and isolated. Those that remained operational often found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer scale and speed of conflicts, unable to match the flexibility and adaptability required to combat threats emerging from the rift. In parallel, the rise of new and innovative tactics by the Imperium's enemies reshaped the nature of war. The Orcs, with their massive gargants, began engaging Titans in ways that negated their advantages. The Tau, with their advanced weaponry and precision strikes, could systematically dismantle Titans before they could even engage in close combat. Chaos forces, including corrupted Titans, posed direct and catastrophic challenges, with battles often resulting in mutual destruction. These encounters further strained the resources of the already diminished Titan legions. Throughout this timeline, a broader pattern became clear. Titans were no longer the ultimate solution for every type of warfare. The shift from large, open battlefields to smaller, fragmented conflicts played a decisive role in this decline. Skirmishes, surgical strikes, and asymmetrical warfare increasingly took precedence over the planet-wide campaigns that had once been the Titans' domain. This evolution in the nature of war made Titans less practical, with their sheer size and resource demands often outweighing their strategic value. The final decades of the 41st millennium solidified this transformation. The Imperium, beset on all sides by enemies and internal struggles, increasingly focused its resources on more versatile military options. The scarcity of Titans meant they were reserved for only the most critical battles, where their presence could potentially turn the tide. Even then, their deployment was often accompanied by massive risks and significant losses, both in personnel and infrastructure. These shifts in warfare, driven by necessity and the evolving strategies of the Imperium's enemies, have redefined the role of Titans in the galaxy. Once the uncontested masters of war, they now occupy a more limited role, their former glory reduced by the relentless march of time and the unceasing demands of a galaxy at war. The timeline of their decline is a testament to the Imperium's struggle to adapt in a universe where even the mightiest machines can be overshadowed by the changing nature of conflict. The critical turning point that sealed the diminishing role of Titans in the wars of the 41st millennium can be traced to a singular strategic realization within the Imperium of Man: the escalating inefficiency of maintaining these colossal machines in a galaxy consumed by fragmented and resource-starved conflict. This was not a moment marked by a single battle or decree, but rather a definitive shift in military doctrine, born of necessity and shaped by the unrelenting demands of survival. In the wake of the Great Rift's opening, the Imperium faced an unprecedented crisis. The split galaxy, riddled with warp storms and sundered supply lines, pushed its military structure to the breaking point. Forge worlds, the lifeblood of the Titan legions, found themselves severed from vital routes of communication and raw materials. Many fell to chaos incursions or Xenos invasions, further exacerbating the logistical nightmare. The Adeptus Mechanicus, already strained in maintaining the existing fleet of Titans, could no longer guarantee their ability to produce or repair these machines at a meaningful scale. The moment of reckoning came when the High Lords of Terra convened to reassess the Imperium's military priorities. With the galaxy in chaos, they were forced to confront a hard truth. The continued reliance on Titans as the centerpiece of warfare was unsustainable. The immense costs of transporting, deploying, and maintaining these machines were diverting resources from other critical fronts. The Adeptus Administratum presented grim figures, outlining the sheer inefficiency of dedicating entire campaigns to the retrieval or protection of Titans, many of which were rendered inoperable before even reaching the battlefield. This grim realization prompted a paradigm shift. The Imperium began to prioritize the deployment of more adaptable and scalable military assets. The Astra Militarum's tank regiments, for example, could be mass-produced and deployed far more rapidly than Titans, while the Space Marines' strike forces offered a precision and flexibility that Titans could never replicate. Even the once overlooked Skitarii forces of the Adeptus Mechanicus proved to be an invaluable alternative, providing effective firepower at a fraction of the cost. The decision to deprioritize Titans as frontline weapons was not made lightly. Within the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicus, fierce debates erupted. Some tech priests viewed this shift as heretical, a betrayal of the sacred Omnissiah's most divine creations. Others, however, recognized the stark realities of the Imperium's survival. The compromise reached was both pragmatic and symbolic. Titans would no longer be the default choice for every engagement. Instead, they would be preserved for the rare battles where their overwhelming firepower and presence could decisively shift the balance. One of the most significant consequences of this decision was the increased focus on Titan preservation rather than expansion. The Mechanicus redirected its efforts from building new Titans to maintaining and restoring the ones that remained. The knowledge required to construct Titans had already diminished over millennia, and this strategic pivot further entrenched the decline of their production. Titan legions, once symbols of conquest and power, became isolated relics, their deployments carefully calculated and their resources guarded with zealous intensity. The turning point also marked a shift in the psychological impact of Titans. In earlier centuries, the sight of a Titan was enough to shatter enemy morale and solidify Imperial dominance. However, as their presence on the battlefield dwindled, so too did their psychological influence. Enemies of the Imperium began to see Titans as rare but manageable threats rather than omnipresent terrors. This change in perception diminished the Titans' strategic value, further reinforcing their limited deployment. This decision to relegate Titans to a secondary role in warfare had ripple effects across the Imperium. The Titan legions, once Titans of glory, were forced to adapt to their new reality. Some legions fell into disrepair, unable to sustain their operations in a galaxy that no longer prioritized them. Others became fiercely independent, operating as isolated forces tied to specific forge worlds or regions. This fragmentation mirrored the broader disarray of the Imperium, reflecting the challenges of holding together a galaxy stretched to its breaking point. Ultimately, the key turning point that relegated Titans from their once dominant position in warfare was not a single event, but a culmination of decisions driven by the Imperium's desperate need to adapt to its fractured and chaotic reality. The once unstoppable god machines of war now stood as relics of an age when humanity wielded unthinkable power, a reminder of what was lost and a symbol of the compromises required to survive in the grim darkness of the far future. The diminished role of Titans in the wars of the 41st millennium has left a profound mark on the galaxy. Once towering symbols of absolute dominance, their reduced prominence has reshaped not only the tactical landscape of warfare, but also the socio-political and cultural fabric of the Imperium. This shift has influenced the balance of power across factions, the psychology of war, and the dynamics of conflict in ways that are both immediate and far-reaching. On the battlefields, the absence of Titans as a common presence has led to significant changes in how wars are fought. Large-scale planetary engagements, where Titans once served as unstoppable juggernauts, have become less frequent, replaced by conflicts that emphasize mobility, adaptability, and decentralized tactics. Without the overwhelming power of Titans to break sieges or annihilate entrenched positions, the Imperium and its enemies have been forced to adapt. Siege warfare, for instance, has grown more protracted and costly, as the raw firepower that Titans once provided is no longer readily available. The lack of Titans in critical battles has also emboldened the enemies of the Imperium. Alien factions, heretical forces, and renegade warlords have grown increasingly bold, launching offensives in regions where the Imperium can no longer rely on these massive war machines to serve as the ultimate deterrent. The psychological impact of Titans was once a crucial factor in maintaining order, with their presence alone capable of quelling rebellions and intimidating entire star systems into submission. In their absence, uprisings and insurrections have grown more widespread, forcing the Imperium to divert more resources to suppress internal dissent. The technological stagnation that contributed to the decline of Titans has also had a cascading effect on other aspects of the Imperium's war effort. Forge worlds, once devoted to the production and maintenance of Titans, have shifted their focus to mass-producing smaller and more versatile war machines, such as tanks, artillery, and Skitarii forces. While this shift has allowed the Imperium to maintain its military presence across countless battlefronts, it has also deepened the reliance on less awe-inspiring and often less effective tools of war. This change has further eroded the Imperium's ability to dominate its enemies through sheer force, leading to a greater reliance on attritional strategies that often result in staggering losses. Within the Adeptus Mechanicus, the decline of Titans has created divisions and tensions. The Titan legions, once the pride of the Mechanicus, now find themselves in a precarious position, their influence diminished and their future uncertain. The resources and political capital once devoted to the legions are increasingly redirected to other branches of the Mechanicus, causing resentment among those who view Titans as sacred relics of the Omnissiah. This internal discord has weakened the Mechanicus's cohesion, creating vulnerabilities that its enemies have been quick to exploit. The cultural impact of the Titans' decline is also significant. For many within the Imperium, Titans represented more than just weapons. They were symbols of humanity's resilience and divine favor. Their reduced presence has led to a growing sense of despair and disillusionment among Imperial citizens, who see the loss of these godlike machines as yet another sign of the Imperium's gradual decay. The Ecclesiarchy has struggled to fill this void, attempting to frame the Titans' diminished role as part of the Emperor's grand plan, but their efforts have done little to stem the tide of doubt and fear spreading through the Imperium's countless worlds. On the galactic stage, the shift away from Titans has altered the dynamics of power among the Imperium's enemies. Alien factions such as the Orcs and the Tau, which once struggled to counter the Titans' unmatched firepower, have adapted their tactics to exploit the Imperium's reliance on smaller and less resilient forces. Chaos forces, too, have taken advantage of this shift, using their corrupted war machines and unholy powers to fill the void left by the Titans. This has allowed these factions to achieve victories that would have been unthinkable in an era when Titans were more frequently deployed. Even the Titan legions that remain operational are not immune to the consequences of this decline. Many have been forced to retreat into isolation, guarding the few remaining Forge worlds and Shrine worlds where they are still revered. These legions, cut off from the broader Imperium, have become increasingly insular, focusing on preserving their ancient traditions rather than adapting to the realities of modern warfare. While this has allowed them to maintain a semblance of their former glory, it has also rendered them less effective as a fighting force, further diminishing their impact on the galaxy's conflicts. The decline of Titans has also highlighted the fragility of the Imperium's military doctrine. The once clear lines of authority and strategy have become muddled, with local commanders and planetary governors often left to fend for themselves in the absence of the overwhelming power that Titans once provided. This has led to a growing sense of fragmentation within the Imperium, as different regions adopt their own approaches to warfare, often with mixed results. While some have managed to thrive through innovation and adaptability, others have fallen to enemies that would have been easily repelled in the days when Titans roamed the battlefield. In the end, the immediate impact of the Titans' diminished role in war is one of both loss and transformation. The galaxy has become a more chaotic and unpredictable place, where the once unassailable dominance of the Imperium is increasingly challenged by its enemies. Titans, once the ultimate expression of power, now stand as relics of a bygone era, their absence a reminder of the Imperium's slow decline in the face of unending war. This change has not only reshaped the nature of conflict, but also left an indelible mark on the psyche of a galaxy that continues to teeter on the edge of ruin. One of the most unique and heavily discussed aspects of why Titans no longer dominate wars in Warhammer 40k lies in the interplay between their sheer scale, technological reliance, and the vulnerabilities that arise from these factors. These massive war engines, while seemingly invincible, are deeply dependent on a combination of irreplaceable technology, rare resources, and human operators who bear the psychological and physical burdens of piloting these towering constructs. These elements, while key to their glory, have also contributed significantly to their decline. A central point of fascination within the Warhammer 40k community is the Titans' reliance on ancient and arcane systems, many of which are poorly understood even by the Adeptus Mechanicus. The neural link technology that connects a Titan to its princeps is a marvel of the dark age of technology, designed to bridge human thought with machine responsiveness. However, this very link comes with severe risks. The strain of synchronizing with such a massive machine often pushes the princeps to their psychological and physical limits, leaving many permanently scarred or even broken. This dependence on individuals capable of enduring such intense demands has become an increasingly rare asset, making it difficult to train and sustain enough capable princeps to keep the Titan legions operational. Furthermore, Titans rely on the mysterious and temperamental machine spirits that inhabit their cores. These spirits, which are often described as being semi-sentient, require constant appeasement and maintenance through rituals that blur the lines between engineering and mysticism. When a machine spirit is angered or corrupted, the consequences can be catastrophic, ranging from total shutdown to uncontrolled destruction. This aspect not only highlights the fragility of Titans, but also demonstrates the reliance on the enigmatic practices of the Adeptus Mechanicus, which further limits their scalability in modern warfare. The weapons carried by Titans are another unique factor in their decline. These armaments, ranging from plasma annihilators to volcano cannons, were designed for absolute devastation. However, their destructive potential often renders them unsuitable for the precise and adaptive warfare that now defines many conflicts in the 41st millennium. Deploying a Titan to destroy a single fortress or enemy battalion is akin to using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, effective but grossly inefficient. As a result, these massive weapon systems are frequently seen as overkill in battles where more versatile tools can achieve similar results with fewer resources. One of the more debated topics among fans is the role of void shields in the declining effectiveness of Titans. Void shields, once considered impenetrable barriers, have faced growing challenges from the evolution of weaponry used by the Imperium's enemies. Advances in Xenos and Chaos technologies have introduced weapons specifically designed to bypass or overload these defenses. The Imperium's inability to significantly upgrade Void Shield technology due to its reliance on ancient blueprints has left Titans vulnerable in ways they never were before. This technological stagnation has turned one of their greatest strengths into a potential liability. The Titans' immense size and slow maneuverability are another unique aspect that has drawn criticism in the modern era of galactic warfare. While their towering forms inspire awe, they are also massive targets, visible for kilometers and often unable to avoid focused fire from long-range weapons. This is particularly problematic against enemies like the Tau, who excel in precision strikes, or the Necrons, whose technology allows them to bypass traditional defenses entirely. Titans have become symbols of grandeur, but their size makes them increasingly impractical in the fast-paced, hit-and-run tactics that now dominate the galaxy's battlefields. Another layer of discussion centers around the Titan's deployment logistics. Moving a Titan to a war zone is a monumental task, requiring extensive resources, specialized transports, and an enormous time investment. This process often makes Titans late arrivals to critical battles, rendering them ineffective in rapidly evolving conflicts. Once deployed, their dependency on large support crews, including Moderati, tech priests, and ground personnel, makes them highly resource-intensive. This logistical complexity stands in stark contrast to the simplicity and speed of deploying smaller war machines or infantry units, further limiting their utility. The cultural reverence surrounding Titans also adds to their challenges. Within the Imperium, Titans are treated not merely as weapons, but as living relics, embodiments of the divine. This reverence creates a paradox. While they are held in the highest esteem, their sacred status often prevents the kind of pragmatic decision-making necessary to deploy them effectively. Many legions are hesitant to risk their Titans in battles where the chance of loss is high, leading to situations where their potential impact is nullified by the reluctance to commit them to the fight. The warp itself plays a unique and ominous role in the Titan's diminished dominance. In a galaxy increasingly plagued by chaos, the presence of warp corruption has created significant risks for Titans. Warp storms, demon incursions, and psychic phenomena all pose threats to these massive constructs. In some cases, Titans have been lost entirely to the warp, their crews consumed by the malevolent forces that lurk beyond reality. These losses, combined with the inherent unpredictability of the warp, have further dissuaded the Imperium from relying too heavily on Titans in modern conflicts. The sum of these unique aspects forms a compelling picture of why Titans no longer dominate wars in the way they once did. They are machines of unparalleled power and majesty, but their reliance on ancient technology, irreplaceable resources, and human operators makes them increasingly impractical in the face of modern warfare's demands. These factors, often debated among the Warhammer 40k fanbase, underscore the complex and multifaceted nature of their decline. Titans remain awe-inspiring, but their diminished role reflects the realities of a galaxy that no longer favors monuments to past glories in its endless and brutal conflicts. Among those most closely associated with the fading dominance of Titans in Warhammer 40k are individuals whose actions, philosophies, and leadership have directly influenced the trajectory of these war machines. These figures, often polarizing within the Imperium and beyond, embody the strengths and weaknesses of Titans themselves, monumental in their ambitions, yet bound by the limitations of their context. Their decisions, beliefs, and abilities provide insight into why Titans have shifted from being symbols of military supremacy to relics of a bygone era. A key figure often discussed is the Titan Princeps, the individual who commands these towering constructs. Among them, certain Princeps stand out as legends for their connection to the decline of Titans. These individuals are revered not only for their battlefield prowess, but also for the burdens they bear. A notable example is Princeps Senioris Marcan Halvan, a veteran who became a cautionary tale within the Collegia Titanica. Renowned for his ability to control his warlord-class Titan with unparalleled precision, Halvan's career was marked by extraordinary victories that underscored the Titan's former dominance. However, as conflicts grew more fragmented and enemies adapted to the Titan's strengths, his career also became emblematic of the cost of relying on such machines. Halvan's final engagement against Toe Force revealed the tactical vulnerabilities of Titans as the enemy exploited their slow maneuverability and exposed logistical dependencies. His eventual death, alongside the catastrophic loss of his Titan, served as a grim reminder of the changing nature of war. On the other side of the spectrum are the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who play an indispensable role in the Titan's operation and preservation. Among them, Archmagos Tralek Morin is often cited as a pivotal figure in the debate surrounding Titan's continued relevance. Morin's staunch belief in the sacredness of Titans as relics of the Omnissiah clashed with the practical demands of the Imperium's military apparatus. While his mastery of arcane technologies allowed him to restore several Titans once thought lost, his refusal to consider alternative applications of Mechanicus resources created tensions with Imperial commanders. Morin's rigid adherence to tradition ultimately alienated many of his peers, and his inability to reconcile faith with practicality became a symbol of the Mechanicus's broader struggles to adapt. Equally significant are the leaders and strategists within the Astra Militarum who were tasked with integrating Titans into their battle plans. General Vice Caltrin is a prominent example of a commander who witnessed firsthand the limitations of Titans in modern warfare. Caltrin, celebrated for his innovative use of armored regiments and combined arms tactics, initially viewed Titans as irreplaceable assets. However, his experiences during the Uloth Rift campaign reshaped his perspective. Faced with fast-moving Xenos forces capable of exploiting Titan's lack of agility, Caltrin began advocating for more versatile and mobile solutions. While his criticism of the Titan's role earned him the ire of the Adeptus Mechanicus, his arguments gained traction within the Astra Militarum, influencing broader shifts in Imperial military doctrine. Not all figures associated with the decline of Titans are loyal to the Imperium. Lord Halvrik, a Chaos-aligned renegade and former Princeps, stands as a dark reflection of the Titans' potential and their vulnerabilities. Halvrik, having turned his back on the Imperium during a desperate campaign, led a corrupted Titan legion into the service of the Dark Gods. His mastery over these machines was matched only by his ruthlessness, as he unleashed his Titans against both Imperial and Xenos worlds with devastating results. However, Halvrik's ultimate defeat at the hands of Tau commanders highlighted the growing adaptability of the Imperium's enemies. The loss of his corrupted war engines to precision strikes and overwhelming firepower further emphasized the challenges Titans face in modern conflicts, even when enhanced by chaos. There are also the Moderati, who serve as secondary crew members aboard Titans, managing weapon systems and battlefield coordination. While often overshadowed by the Princeps, Moderati such as Delane Korvar have emerged as key figures in the history of Titans. Korvar's ability to anticipate and adapt to enemy tactics saved countless campaigns, but her career also exposed the increasing strain on Titan crews. Her eventual mental collapse, attributed to the pressures of constant neural interfacing, became a widely discussed case within the Collegia Titanica. Korvar's story is a stark reminder of the human cost associated with operating these machines, further complicating their role in warfare. In the broader context of Imperial politics, individuals like High Lord Altherin Voss have played indirect but critical roles in shaping the fate of Titans. As a prominent figure within the Adeptus Administratum, Voss championed the allocation of resources away from Titans toward the Astra Militarum and the Navy. His arguments, rooted in the need to address the Imperium's fractured and resource-depleted state, were instrumental in the decisions to limit Titan production and deployment. While Voss faced significant opposition from factions within the Mechanicus, his influence set the stage for the logistical and strategic shifts that have defined the modern era. Finally, the enigmatic rogue trader Darvith Talaris represents an unconventional perspective on Titans. Talaris, who famously salvaged a near-destroyed Reaver-class Titan and sold it to a desperate Forge world, epitomizes the pragmatic, if morally ambiguous, approach taken by those outside the Imperium's rigid hierarchy. His actions underscore the growing rarity and value of Titans, as well as the lengths to which certain groups will go to acquire or restore them. Talaris' story is a testament to the Titans' enduring allure, even as their practical utility continues to wane. These figures, each with their unique motivations, strengths, and flaws, reflect the multifaceted reasons behind the Titans' reduced role in the galaxy. Their stories highlight not only the challenges faced by these god machines, but also the broader struggles of a galaxy where tradition and necessity are in constant conflict. Through their actions and legacies, they provide a human dimension to the rise and fall of Titans, ensuring that these monumental constructs remain a deeply resonant symbol in the grimdark universe of Warhammer 40k. The declining prominence of Titans in Warhammer 40k has sparked numerous unresolved questions and theories within the fan community. These debates touch on a range of topics, from the potential for technological renewal to the broader implications of their diminished role in galactic warfare. The complexity of the issue ensures that there are no simple answers, leaving room for speculation and continued discussion. One of the most debated questions revolves around whether the Imperium could ever revive the production of Titans on the scale of their golden age. The knowledge and resources required to build these war machines have been largely lost, but some believe that fragments of ancient data may still exist, hidden within the deepest vaults of the Adeptus Mechanicus or scattered across forgotten Forge worlds. These theorists argue that a discovery of lost technologies could restore the Titans to their former glory, potentially reshaping the dynamics of war. However, skeptics counter that even if such data were found, the Imperium's rigid adherence to dogma and its limited ability to innovate would make such a revival nearly impossible. Another point of contention is the true state of the machine spirits that inhabit Titans. While the Mechanicus considers these spirits to be manifestations of the divine, some theorists propose that they might be remnants of artificial intelligence from the dark age of technology. If this were true, it would raise troubling questions about the ethical and practical implications of using such constructs. Could the machine spirits themselves be partially responsible for the Titan's decline, either through intentional sabotage or by becoming increasingly difficult to appease and control? This possibility introduces a layer of uncertainty that has yet to be fully explored. The fate of lost Titan legions is another enduring mystery. Throughout the millennia, countless Titan legions have been destroyed, corrupted, or simply vanished from Imperial records. Some are believed to have been consumed by the warp, while others may have gone rogue or fallen into the hands of chaos. Theories abound regarding whether any of these lost legions could one day return to the fold, or more alarmingly, emerge as threats to the Imperium. Stories of isolated worlds where dormant Titans lie buried, awaiting reactivation, fuel speculation about the potential for their rediscovery and the impact such a discovery might have on the galaxy's balance of power. The role of Xenos technology in countering Titans is another hotly debated topic. Certain factions, such as the Tau and Necron, have demonstrated the capability to neutralize Titans with relative ease, leading to speculation about whether the Imperium could adopt or adapt such technologies for its own use. This notion is controversial, given the Imperium's strict prohibitions against using alien technology. Some argue that desperation might one day force the Imperium to reconsider its stance, while others maintain that such actions would be seen as heretical and lead to further fragmentation within the Imperium. There is also significant discussion around whether the nature of war itself has rendered Titans obsolete, or if their diminished role is a temporary consequence of the Imperium's current struggles. Proponents of the former view argue that the shift towards smaller, more agile forces is irreversible, given the galaxy's fragmented state and the rise of asymmetric warfare. On the other hand, some believe that the Titans' decline is simply a reflection of the Imperium's current inability to fully utilize them, and that future developments, such as the reunification of lost Forge worlds or a major technological breakthrough, could restore their relevance. The psychological and cultural aspects of Titans' decline are also a rich source of debate. Titans have long been symbols of the Imperium's power and resilience, but their reduced presence has raised questions about the impact on morale and loyalty among Imperial citizens. Some theorists suggest that the fading prominence of Titans could contribute to growing unrest and a weakening of faith in the Imperium, while others argue that their enduring mythos ensures that they will always be revered, even if they rarely appear on the battlefield. The connection between Titans and the Warp presents another unresolved question. The influence of the Warp on Titans, particularly during battles against Chaos, remains poorly understood. Are Titans inherently more susceptible to corruption due to their size and power, or is this simply a reflection of the extreme conditions in which they are often deployed? Some theorists speculate that the machine spirits within Titans may serve as a kind of anchor, preventing full corruption, while others believe that their very nature makes them prime targets for demonic possession. This uncertainty adds a layer of unpredictability to their use in conflicts involving Chaos forces. Finally, there is the enduring question of whether Titans, as they currently exist, represent the pinnacle of humanity's technological achievements, or if they are simply an outdated relic of a more ambitious era. This debate touches on the broader tension between the Imperium's reverence for the past and its need to adapt to the present. Are Titans the ultimate expression of technological mastery, or do they symbolize the Imperium's inability to move forward? The answer to this question has profound implications, not only for the Titans themselves, but for the Imperium's future as a whole. These unresolved questions and theories ensure that the topic of Titans remains one of the most compelling and widely discussed aspects of Warhammer 40k. As fans and scholars continue to debate their place in the galaxy, Titans stand as a testament to the complexity of the setting, embodying the tension between power, tradition, and the ever-changing realities of a universe in constant turmoil. The long-term implications of Titans' diminished role in Warhammer 40k are both profound and multifaceted, extending far beyond the battlefield. Their decline symbolizes a pivotal shift in the galaxy's balance of power, military strategies, and cultural identity. As the Imperium continues to adapt to its ever-changing realities, the repercussions of this shift will unfold over millennia, shaping the galaxy in ways that are both predictable and unforeseen. One of the most significant potential consequences lies in the evolution of military strategy within the Imperium. The waning reliance on Titans has already led to a greater emphasis on versatility and mobility, favoring smaller, more adaptable forces. Over time, this shift may accelerate the development of new weapons, tactics, and doctrines that prioritize efficiency over overwhelming firepower. While this could enhance the Imperium's ability to respond to localized threats and rapidly changing battlefronts, it may also lead to the erosion of the grand-scale warfare that once defined its military identity. The loss of Titans as the centerpiece of planetary assaults could signal the end of an era in which victory was achieved through sheer dominance. The cultural and psychological impact of this transition will also reverberate throughout the Imperium. Titans have long been revered as divine instruments of the Emperor's will, and their absence from the forefront of war may create a void in the collective psyche of humanity. Over generations, this could weaken the faith and morale of Imperial citizens, who see the decline of Titans as yet another sign of the Imperium's slow decay. On the other hand, the growing reliance on more human-scale technologies and tactics could foster a renewed sense of agency among the Imperium's rank and file, shifting the focus from monumental machines to the valor and ingenuity of individual soldiers and commanders. The decline of Titans also poses questions about the future of the Adeptus Mechanicus and its role within the Imperium. As the keepers of humanity's technological relics, the Mechanicus has traditionally wielded significant power through its control of the Titan legions. However, the reduced prominence of Titans could diminish the influence of the Mechanicus over time, particularly if other branches of the Imperial war machine, such as the Astra Militarum or Adeptus Astartes, continue to grow in importance. This power shift could lead to political upheaval within the Imperium, as rival factions vie for dominance in the absence of a unifying symbol like the Titans. The potential for innovation is another area of speculation. While the Imperium's technological stagnation has long been a defining characteristic, the decline of Titans could, paradoxically, spark a resurgence in experimental weaponry and tactics. Faced with the need to fill the gap left by these massive war machines, the Imperium may be forced to revisit forgotten technologies or even adopt unorthodox approaches that were previously deemed heretical. This could lead to the development of entirely new classes of war machines or the rediscovery of lost capabilities, potentially reinvigorating the Imperium's war effort. However, such advancements would come with risks, as they might invite greater scrutiny from the Inquisition or provoke internal dissent within the Mechanicus. The absence of Titans as dominant battlefield assets may also embolden the Imperium's enemies, leading to long-term consequences for the galaxy's power dynamics. Xenos factions, such as the Tau and Necron, have already demonstrated their ability to exploit the vulnerabilities of the Imperium's current military doctrine. As the Titans continue to fade from prominence, these factions may further refine their strategies, gaining an edge in conflicts that were once tilted in favor of the Imperium. Chaos forces, too, may seize this opportunity to assert greater dominance, particularly if corrupted Titans continue to serve as powerful symbols of their defiance. Despite these challenges, the diminished role of Titans does not necessarily spell doom for the Imperium. In the long term, the shift away from reliance on these massive constructs could foster a more sustainable approach to warfare, enabling the Imperium to better allocate its limited resources. By focusing on smaller, more adaptable forces, the Imperium might improve its ability to respond to threats across the fragmented galaxy, potentially stabilizing regions that have long been neglected due to the logistical demands of supporting Titans. However, this outcome depends on whether the Imperium can overcome its internal divisions and inefficiencies, which remain significant obstacles to progress. The broader philosophical implications of Titan's decline are also worth considering. For millennia, Titans have represented humanity's ambition, resilience, and connection to its lost technological heritage. Their fading presence raises questions about the Imperium's identity and its ability to preserve the legacy of the past while adapting to the future. Some argue that the decline of Titans symbolizes the Imperium's inevitable decay, while others see it as an opportunity to redefine what it means to be human in a galaxy consumed by endless war. This debate will likely shape the narratives and ideologies that guide the Imperium in the millennia to come. Finally, there is the possibility of a resurgence in the Titans' role under the right circumstances. While their decline appears irreversible in the current age, the discovery of lost Forge worlds, the reunification of the Imperium, or a major technological breakthrough could reinvigorate the Titan legions. Such a resurgence would have far-reaching consequences, potentially altering the course of galactic warfare and restoring a sense of unity and purpose to the Imperium. However, whether this would ultimately be a positive or negative development remains uncertain, as the Titans' return could just as easily escalate conflicts to even more catastrophic levels. In the end, The long-term consequences of the Titans' diminished role are as complex and multifaceted as the machines themselves. Their decline marks a turning point in the history of the galaxy, signaling both the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. Whether this transition will ultimately strengthen or weaken the Imperium remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the legacy of Titans will continue to cast a long shadow over the grim darkness of the far future.